Exclusive. Dara and Jung Il-woo, love at first sight on set and behind the scenes moments. Was it just acting, or did sparks really fly the moment their eyes met? Witnesses say the chemistry between Dara and Jung Il-woo behind the scenes was impossible to ignore, leaving everyone wondering if the script had spilled into real life. Join Red Carpet revealed as we uncover the truth and explore every breathtaking detail right now. It began with nothing more than a glance, a fleeting moment in the chaos of the set when everything else seemed to fall away. The cameras weren't even rolling yet, but already something electric was in the air. Dara arrived first that morning, dressed in her character's outfit, her hair perfectly styled and her smile warm but guarded. The set was buzzing with activity. Members rushing back and forth, adjusting lights, checking sound, arranging props. She stood quietly to one side, eyes scanning the bustling room as though searching for something, or someone. And then Jung Il-woo walked in. For a moment, it felt as if the air shifted. His tall frame, confident stride, and boyish grin immediately drew attention. But it wasn't the cameras or the crew who seemed to hold his gaze, it was her. Their eyes met across the set. Neither moved at first, and yet somehow, the entire room seemed to shrink until it was just the two of them standing there, connected by something no one else could see. Witnesses would later describe it as palpable, undeniable, the kind of chemistry that doesn't need words. Their first meeting was simple enough, a handshake, polite smiles, a few words of greeting. But there was something in the way his fingers lingered on hers just a moment too long, something in the way her cheeks flushed as she looked away. From that moment on, nothing was quite the same. The scene they were filming that day required them to play a lovers' meeting after a long separation, a tender, emotional reunion. For most actors, such a scene would simply be another exercise in technique, another performance to be delivered with precision. But for Dara and Jung Il-woo, it became something more. As the cameras rolled, they stepped into their roles with remarkable ease, delivering their lines with conviction. Yet it was the moments in between, the way their eyes locked, the subtle touch of his hand at the small of her back, the quiet gasp she let slip when he brushed a strand of hair from her face, that left everyone watching spellbound. When the director finally called cut, the room was silent for a beat too long. Then came the whispers. They weren't acting, one makeup artist murmured to a colleague. "Did you see the way he looked at her?" Another added, "She didn't even flinch." Someone else chimed in, "She leaned into it." Between takes, the two of them continued to talk quietly, laughing at private jokes, standing closer than necessary, exchanging glances that spoke volumes. One member of the crew, who asked to remain anonymous, later said, "You could tell they forgot we were there." It was like watching something intimate. During a break, Jung Il-woo noticed Dara struggling to adjust her costume. Without a word, he stepped forward and helped her fix it. Hands surprisingly gentle. She looked up at him then, eyes wide and soft, and for a moment, it felt like the entire set was holding its breath. Later, as they rehearsed a particularly emotional scene, Jung leaned in to whisper something in her ear. Whatever he said made her laugh, a real, unguarded laugh that made everyone turn to look. Her hand shot out and rested briefly on his chest as she doubled over in giggles, and the sight of it left several crew members blushing. It didn't take long for someone to capture the moment on their phone. By the end of the day, the clip, a grainy, shaky recording of Jung Il-woo whispering into Dara's ear and her subsequent laugh and touch, had leaked onto social media. The internet exploded. Lit up with hashtags, Dara Jung Il-woo, on-set love, love at first sight, too real to be acting. Fans dissected the clip frame by frame, pointing out every detail, the softness in his eyes, the way she leaned toward him, the faint smile he wore even after she looked away. Comments flooded in, "That's not just acting. That's real. Forgot about the cameras, and everyone else. If this is part of the script, I need to read that script." In a matter of hours, the video had been shared millions of times, spawning countless edits set to romantic music, fan theories, and debates about whether what they had witnessed was a blossoming romance or simply incredible acting. But for those who were on set that day, was no doubt. One stylist confessed privately, "I've worked with both of them before. They've never been like this with anyone else." Another crew member said, It was like watching two people fall for each other in real time. Even the director, when pressed for comment, admitted with a wry smile, sometimes reality creeps into the performance. And when it does, you don't stop it, you just keep the cameras rolling. By the time filming wrapped, the atmosphere was charged, almost electric. Dara and Jung Il-woo left together, walking side by side, their hands brushing every now and then as they exchanged quiet words. And though the cameras had stopped rolling, their story was far from over. The morning after the clip went viral, headlines blared from every corner of the internet. Dara and Jung Il-woo, on-set sparks or off-set love? Behind-the-scenes chemistry raises eyebrows. Exclusive, what really happened between Dara and Jung Il-woo? Fans scoured past interviews, red carpet appearances, and press conferences, searching for clues they might have missed before. Every laugh they shared, every sideways glance, every casual touch now seemed to take on new meaning. A video from months earlier resurfaced. Dara joking about her ideal type and describing someone who sounded suspiciously like Jung Il-woo. A photo of the two standing a little too close at a charity gala suddenly reappeared on fan pages, with captions like, "They've been hiding in plain sight all along." Even former colleagues began to weigh in. An actor who had worked with Jung Il-woo in the past hinted at something more. "He's always been professional, but with her, he's different. Softer. Happier." Another source, reportedly a friend of Dara's, told a tabloid, "She talks about him all the time. Tries to play it cool, but you can tell." Yet amid the whirlwind of speculation, neither Dara nor Jung Il-woo issued a statement. Their agencies, however, moved quickly to quell the rumors. By late afternoon, both companies released nearly identical press releases. Dara and Jung Il-woo are close colleagues who have developed a strong professional rapport on set. There is no romantic relationship between them, but fans weren't buying it. One fan tweeted, "If that's just close colleagues, then I must have been imagining the way he looked at her." Another replied, "Yeah, and I guess the earth is flat too." Even entertainment journalists expressed skepticism, noting how carefully worded, and notably vague, the statements were. An industry insider explained, "Relationships between high-profile stars are always sensitive. Companies prefer to deny at first, to protect contracts and endorsements. But sometimes, the truth eventually comes out." Set, however, the atmosphere had undeniably changed. According to witnesses, and Jung Il-woo continued to act as if nothing had happened, maintaining their professionalism during takes. Between scenes, their usual closeness seemed more measured, as though they were aware of the eyes now following their every move. Still, subtle moments betrayed them. One crew member caught them standing together in a quiet corner during lunch, their heads bent close as they spoke in hushed tones. Another noticed Jung gently guiding Dara through a crowd of extras, his hand briefly at her waist before he quickly pulled away. At the wrap party later that week, their dynamic was on full display again. Guests noted how they seemed inseparable, laughing together, sitting side by side, clinking glasses in quiet toasts when they thought no one was watching. One attendee described it as undeniable. "You can fake a lot of things, but not that." Not the way they look at each other. And yet, no matter how many insiders spoke out, no matter how many photos surfaced, Dara and Jung Il-woo stayed silent. Speculation reached a fever pitch when paparazzi caught them leaving the same restaurant late one night, slipping into a car together. The grainy photos dominated headlines the next morning, prompting another round of furious denials from their agencies. But by then, the damage, or perhaps the magic, had already been done. For many fans, the idea of Dara and Jung Il-woo as a couple was irresistible. Edits of their moments together flooded social media, accompanied by captions like, "Just admit it already," and "Love at first sight," caught on camera. Others defended their right to privacy, urging fellow fans to let them be. An editorial in a popular entertainment magazine summed it up best: "Maybe they are just colleagues. Maybe it was just a fleeting moment of connection. Or maybe, just maybe, we were lucky enough to witness the start of something extraordinary." As filming wrapped for good, the two stars posed together for one final photo on set, smiling, arms around each other, their eyes bright and full of something that still refused to be named. And as they walked off into the waiting cars, behind the other, The crew watched in silence. Each of them wondering the same thing. Was this all just a performance, or had they all just been witness to a love story that began before anyone, even Dara and Jung Il-woo themselves, realized it? Would tell. Until then, the whispers would continue. It would multiply, and fans around the world would keep replaying that first moment, the glance, the smile, the laugh, over and over again, because whether it was real or not, one thing was certain. Some stories are too beautiful to leave behind the scenes. Red Carpet Revealed will continue to follow this story as it unfolds. Stay tuned, the next chapter is just around the